Andi Purewal for Andi Boxing. I'm joined by trainer Shane McGuigan. I'm the back of another successful night's work. Caroline Dubois continues to impress. Shane, walk me through her stoppage win tonight.
Great. Was it a fifth round? Fourth or fifth, yeah. Right at the end of the fourth, went in the fifth, but either way, great performance. Yeah, that girl's strong, comes forward. Went 8 rounds of Katie Taylor been stopped by Hamadouche. And then also got stopped in a one-round shootout against Dee Allen, who's a lot heavier than her. So, you know, got a few losses on a record, but always comes to have a go and can really punch. So, for Caroline to do that, dissect her with a jab, and then beat her up and knock her out was great.
Shane, for you, what was the most impressive thing from Caroline tonight?
Patience, being poised, thinking in there. You know, she gets a bit like nervous and puts a lot of pressure on herself, like especially in that debut. You know, I mean, everyone thought she looked good in her debut, but I just know what she's capable of. And if you can measure that fight from her debut, it's just miles better. I really believe she's going to win a world title in the next 12 months, and she's also in the division. You know, obviously depends on where Katie Taylor is in 12 months if she's vacated any, but you know she'll be ready in 12 months for anything.
So Shane, another impressive performance from her, and the talent's clear to see for all. You've said 12 months she could win a world title, so talk to me about the next step and the step up in opposition ahead.
Well, I think that was a good step up in opposition, and she just dealt with it with ease. Yeah, those girls there, they know how to survive. They can punch a little bit, and they always come to have a go. So that's the fights that she needs. You know, maybe a couple more of them, slightly better, improved. But the better they are, the better that she has to perform, and she's just got levels and gears. So I'm just so excited. You know, I've got Ellie Scotney, I've got Caroline Dubois, I've got 2 of the best female fighters in the world, and I think in time people are going to notice and really sort of there'll be that next wave coming through. Obviously, you got Savannah, you got Shields, you got the chief support as well. It's just such a great, such great fighters in the division. But in a couple of years' time, Katie Taylor's going to be gone, and they're going to look for a new star, and that's Caroline Dubois and Ellie Scotney.
Obviously, Ellie's out on the 29th now. The initial disappointment of a card this past weekend falling through for her. But how happy were you to get that one over the line so quickly?
Yeah, very happy. You know, like we look after her management-wise, and happy that out of all of the fighters we got her rescheduled first. And European title fight. It's a great fight for the card. Also gets her a chance to box in Katie Taylor undercard. So I think she thanked us more about that than getting her on the Conor Benn and Eubank Jr. build. To be honest, she's buzzing.
Obviously, CBS is a man who's always supporting the gym. He's here again tonight. What's the latest with him?
Looking at a December date for Chris. Yeah, still to be decided. I mean, we're not far off, but I think we'll have news in the next week or two.
See Lawrence Okolie about as well in that division. Any update on him?
No update from Lawrence. No, no, not at the moment. But Chris, will be looking to get one more out before the end of the year. So. Yeah, we've got to work with the in-house team and see where we go with that one.
Daniel Dubois obviously talks about that potential fight with Kevin Lorena. Is that one you expect to happen?
Yeah, obviously Lucas Brown was thrown at us, and I think that was the cheapest option. Obviously didn't get passed by the board, and we're in a predicament because Daniel costs money, and they need to put on a great card, and there's talks of some really good fights on that card. So obviously they want an opponent, but they can't put it on pay-per-view. I don't think so. Kevin Lorena really fits the bill. I mean, he's unbeaten. Southpaw, cruiserweight coming up, so he's going to be tricky and awkward. Got speed. Dropped Marius Wack in his fight, knocked out Bogdan Dinu. So he's really started to announce himself as a heavyweight recently. So I think it's a good fight for us. Danny's going to have to switch on. He's going to have to show something different, and that's what he needs before boxing the big guys.
Saw Michael Hunter's name floated about on the back of Hughie Fury having to pull out of that fight. Was that ever discussed internally? Yeah,
it was. I think we approached him, but Michael Hunter's been he's just linked up with Boxer and Sky, so maybe I have to pull Ben Shalom to one side and say what's going on there. But look, Daniel's going to have to box him at some stage. Hughie Fury versus Hunter was an eliminator for Daniel's title, the regular title, so we'll have to box him at some stage. I said, why don't we just get it done now? But that's a much more expensive fight, and I'm sure that can get made soon, maybe even the one after this.
Shane, just a couple of fights to try and get your thoughts on. Fury-Chisora 3's in the works now. It seems to be the most likely outcome for them two next. Your thoughts if that one was to go ahead?
Doesn't really. Look, Chisora always comes to win. Always gives a good account of himself. He'll force Fury to have a fight. I think Fury will knock him out. But we've seen it twice. Do you know what I mean? So is he going to sell out a stadium? I'm not too sure. Maybe Fury's just at that stage of his career where everyone's so high up on him that they just come out and pay for the ticket. You know, but whether it's a challenging opponent, you can just go and watch that fight twice on YouTube, and you're not going to be, taken aback. It's not. So they're going to have a good undercard on that one. But either way, it's another fight. It's another heavyweight fight, and it keeps the belt alive.
Final one, Otto-Wallin's in the frame to potentially face Anthony Joshua. Would you say that's a good step back for AJ?
I think so. I mean, he's prepared for Southpaw in his last 2 camps against Usyk, so he'll be accustomed to Southpaw sparring. Maybe he'll go and transfer the work that he was trying to get off with. To be honest, I thought he did a lot better in the second fight. He can take the improvements that and the lessons he's learned from that, and go and implement it with Otto-Wallin. I think Otto-Wallin's tough. He comes to have a go. He's slightly bigger than Usyk. He's slightly slower, but similar movements. Quite awkward. Got decent head movement and stuff. So it won't be a complete walkover. It'll be a competitive fight, but one that AJ will win and get himself back on track. And that's what everyone wants to see. Everyone wants to see fighters winning so we can get those mega fights, whether it's Daniel getting in the mix or Joe Joyce getting in the mix or Fury, AJ by themselves. That's what they want. So the more British heavyweights mixing it with each other, the better.
Right, Shane, I know you're a busy man and you've got a little one to get back to as well tonight. So enjoy this victory, and thanks for speaking to me and ID Boxing.
Cheers, Andy. Thanks, mate.